Chapter 71 Final Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After lying dormant in Zhongzhou for 30 years, Lin Tian has figured out the details of Zhongzhou. There are no strong people in the tribulation crossing stage in Zhongzhou, and the highest one is the perfect Mahayana stage. In other words, there are no cultivators in the tribulation crossing stage on Zhongyu Star. This reflects that Zhongyu Star is at the top of the middle world category and has the potential to be promoted to the big world. In this way, it is not impossible for Tianyuan realm to take over Zhongyu Star. The final key point is Mu Fei. This son of luck is too important. With Mu Fei as a professional scapegoat, the main spirit of Lingtai's secret realm has done all the bad things in the past 30 years. Not only did he steal all the resources of the major sects, but he also destroyed the only two secret realms in Zhongzhou, like the Qingshan secret realm. The two secret realms in Zhongzhou each store a third-level inferior spiritual vein. It can be seen that the Tiandao of Zhongyu Star uses the same routine. In this way, it is very convenient for Lin Tian and his team to act. Shizhou, Nanzhou, and Beizhou just need to find out if there is a secret realm to know clearly. If there is, there must be a spiritual vein in it. Zhongzhou has been explored, and the next step is the other three continents. We need to hurry up. It is worth mentioning that in the past 30 years, Lin Tian and Mu Fei both broke through to the nascent soul stage. They are the fastest cultivators in the history of Zhongyu Star, and they can be recorded in the history. That's right. Whether it will be recorded in the history of Zhongyu Star is another matter. With a clear goal, it is much easier to do things. It took another 60 years for Lin Tian and his team to explore the other three continents. So far, the distribution of Zhongyu Star is under control. Now, there are only a few years left before the 100 years, and time is still very tight. At this time, Lin Tian should also confront Mu Fei and tell him the truth. So, you have been using me all this time. After knowing the truth, Mu Fei has never dared to accept and believe it. They have been friends for nearly 100 years. Let's not talk about other things, just say that Lin Tian takes good care of him on weekdays, and he has provided him with cultivation guidance and cultivation resources. Now, Lin Tian actually told him that all they did was to get Zhongyu Star. I had this idea at first, but later, I changed my mind. I want to invite you to join Tianyuan realm. That's why I want to tell you the answer. Lin Tian did not hide the truth from Mu Fei and made things clear to him. Mu Fei is a genius. Joining Tianyuan realm is a good thing for Tianyuan realm. Just like the two brothers Ben Boba and Boboban, it is estimated that Tianyuan realm will need the help of the two brothers in the future. Let him join Tianyuan realm. Mu Fei hesitated. If he was alone, Mu Fei would agree to Lin Tian and go to Tianyuan realm with Lin Tian, but Mu Fei still had someone in his heart who was worried about. This person was not Zhao Yunyan, but the Mu family. Seeing that Mu Fei was hesitant, Lin Tian said again. There is one thing you must have understood. The highest level of Zhongyu Star is not the perfection of the Mahayana period. No one can break through the tribulation. Mu Fei agreed with Lin Tian's point of view. Over the years, they have never seen a strong person in the transitional tribulation stage, nor have they heard of a strong person in the transitional tribulation stage appearing anywhere. By the way, Lin Tian and Mu Fei have both reached the Return to Void stage. Return to Void stage is also one of the best masters in the entire central domain star. Don't think that the Mahayana stage is like a rotten cabbage, which can be found everywhere. In fact, there are not many Mahayana stage cultivators in the central domain star. Lin Tian asked again, do you know why? Hearing Lin Tian ask this, Mu Fei didn't understand. He thought in his heart that if he couldn't break through, it must be because of insufficient talent. If he had enough talent, how could he not break through? Such a simple thing, everyone knows it. It was because of this sentence that everyone knew that Mu Fei realized that what Lin Tian asked was definitely not this, and there must be other reasons. Mu Fei shook his head and waited for Lin Tian's next words. Lin Tian did not keep people waiting and explained. Because the perfection of the Mahayana stage is the upper limit of the Heavenly Dao rules of the central region star. If the Heavenly Dao rules stop advancing, all living beings will not be able to break through. I see. After listening to Lin Tian's explanation, Mu Fei seemed to have suddenly realized something. Then, Mu Fei asked again, can you go to other worlds to break through to the tribulation stage before coming back? Faced with Mu Fei's question, Lin Tian was speechless. You are such a clever little ghost, you are so good at bugging. It is possible in theory. However, there are many restrictions. First, you must get the permission of the Heavenly Dao to allow you to survive in this world. Second, you cannot use your cultivation that is higher than the upper limit of the world, otherwise the Heavenly Dao order will be destroyed. If this possibility occurs, the Heavenly Dao will kill you without hesitation. Lin Tian answered Mu Fei again, and after knowing the answer, Mu Fei fell silent again. If the original strength cannot be fully exerted, it is nothing but a mere show. What use is it? Can the Tianyuan realm break through to the crossing tribulation stage, or even a higher realm? Mu Fei asked again. Lin Tian was speechless again by Mu Fei's question. Why do you always ask these questions? How do you want me to answer? Do you want to say that the current upper limit of the Tianyuan realm is the perfection of the return to void realm, and there are not even Mahayana cultivators? Our Tianyuan realm has a strong foundation. It has developed for less than 10,000 years, and it has reached this level like the central domain star. You said that if the Tianyuan realm is given another 100 years of development, won't there be a strong person in the crossing tribulation stage in the Tianyuan realm? Lin Tian made a big promise for Mu Fei. Mu Fei also heard that there were no strong people in the tribulation crossing stage in the Tianyuan realm. The Tianyuan realm was improving so fast, Mu Fei did not doubt it. He knew it by looking at the main spirit of the Lingtai secret realm, robbing resources from other worlds to feed the Tianyuan realm. How could the Tianyuan realm not improve quickly? There is another thing you don't have to worry about. You can completely settle the Mu family in the Tianyuan realm. Seeing that Mu Fei was slow to speak, Lin Tian seemed to have guessed what Mu Fei was thinking, so he also spoke. Really? Hearing Lin Tian say that the Mu family could be settled in the Tianyuan realm, Mu Fei's heart was shaken. Mu Fei knew that Lin Tian would not give up Zhongyu Star because of him, and Zhongyu Star would be annexed by the Tianyuan realm sooner or later. When the Mu family no longer existed, Mu Fei would have no place to use the resources allocated to him. If the Mu family could be settled in the Tianyuan realm, the nature would be different. Mu Fei threw all the resources in his hands on the Mu family, and the Mu family would definitely rise in the Tianyuan realm. Lin Tian nodded slightly. Of course. I agreed. What should we do next? Mu Fei surrendered to the enemy at once. Then again, in fact, Mu Fei did not surrender to the enemy. He was on Lin Tian's ship at the beginning, so how could he surrender to the enemy? This matter still needs your cooperation. Next, Lin Tian told Mu Fei in detail about the plan and deployment. Lin Tian and his team wanted to pack up all the spiritual veins and secret realms in the central region star and take them away. If they did so, it would definitely cause a big commotion, which would attract the obstruction and anger of the central region star Tiandao. The last point of Mu Fei's value was to use the remaining luck in his body to delay the central region star Tiandao, as long as Mu Fei could delay the central region star Tiandao for a few breaths, their plan would succeed. Chapter 72 Mahayana. You are listening at novelfull.audio. One day, the central region star experienced a violent shock, and several spiritual veins, including the secret realm, were forcibly stripped apart and all fled into the void. Seeing this scene, the central region star Heavenly Dao was furious. At the same time, what he did not expect was that he had blocked the entire central region star, so how could there be outsiders in the central region star? He really couldn't figure it out. The central region star Heavenly Dao took action, and he wanted to kill all these outsiders. Just when the central region star Heavenly Dao's attack fell on Lin Tian and others, Mu Fei took action. He used the last bit of luck to help Lin Tian resist the attack of the central region star Heavenly Dao. You dare to betray me? The central region star Heavenly Dao was furious. Mu Fei was like his own son, and he took care of Mu Fei everywhere. Unexpectedly, Mu Fei betrayed him in the end. Mu Fei is the son of luck in this era, and he will reach the top sooner or later. With a bright future ahead, why would Mu Fei betray him? He really couldn't figure it out. Let's go. Mu Fei did not answer Zongyuxing Tiandao's words. This little luck could not resist him for long. While Zongyuxing Tiandao was being held back, Mu Fei and Lin Tian and the others quickly fled Zongyuxing. Cultivators above the Mahayana stage, chase and kill them for me. I must intercept them. Zongyuxing Tiandao could not leave Zongyuxing, so he conveyed an order to all the Mahayana stage cultivators on Zhongyuxing, asking them to take Lin Tian and others back to Zhongyuxing. After receiving the order from Tiandao, the Mahayana stage cultivators on Zhongyuxing flew towards the void one by one. Lin Tian and the others were all in the return to void realm. Facing dozens of Mahayana stage masters, they could not even think about it, and they would definitely not be able to defeat them. You go first, I will hold them back. At this time, the main spirit of Lingtai's secret realm stood up. It could not deal with so many people, but if it held them back, there would be no problem at all. After hearing the words of the main spirit of Lingtai's secret realm, Lin Tian and the others nodded and left first. Seeing Lin Tian and his men taking away all the resources of the Central Region Star, the Heavenly Dao of the Central Region Star was furious. He had spent countless years to cultivate the Central Region Star to this state, now it was all stolen by thieves from outside the region. How could he accept it? He was unwilling to accept it. The spiritual veins and secret realms of the Central Region Star were all stolen, and the spiritual energy in the Central Region Star was reduced a lot at once. If this continued, the spiritual energy would be exhausted sooner or later, and the Heavenly Dao of the Central Region Star also felt that his rule power was gradually weakening. From now on, the Central Region Star does not allow living beings to practice. The Heavenly Dao of the Central Region Star blocked the practice method. The spiritual energy of the Central Region Star must not be exhausted. He wanted to preserve the remaining spiritual energy. He wanted to turn the tables again. Tianyuan realm, Lin Tian and his men had successfully brought back all the resources and handed them over to him, more than a dozen spiritual veins and several secret realms. Even for him, this was a great fortune. After that, he divided all these spirit veins into 8 domains, and did not merge them together, but let them slowly nurture. After processing the spirit veins, he began to refine the power of rules in the secret realm. 50 years later, all the power of rules in these secret realms was refined by him. It was also at this time that the Tianyuan realm broke through the upper limit, and the creatures in the Tianyuan realm could cultivate to the Mahayana stage. However, there were still few places, and at most 9 Mahayana cultivators could be accommodated. Lin Tian, Hanli, and Yixingchen were naturally included in the quota. Mu Fei, he also left a quota. If it weren't for the help of Mu Fei, the son of luck, on the trip to Zhongyu Star, they wouldn't have been able to get so many things. In this way, 4 of the 9 quotas went directly, and only 5 were left for the creatures of Tianyuan realm. Not enough to divide, not enough at all, he set his sights on Zhongyu Star again, and he wanted to completely annex Zhongyu Star. If the Zhongyu Star can be completely annexed, perhaps the Tianyuan realm can reach the world level. So, he ordered Lin Tian and Mu Fei to go to Zhongyu Star to check the current situation of Zhongyu Star and whether they can attack it. Lin Tian and Mu Fei did so. They secretly explored Zhongyu Star and brought him the current situation of Zhongyu Star. When he learned that Zhongyu Star was no longer allowed to practice, he immediately guessed the idea of Zhongyu Star Tiandao. Zhongyu Star Tiandao wanted to make a comeback. At this time, Hanli stood up again. He proposed again to destroy the earth, fire, feng shui of Zhongyu Star, so that Zhongyu Star Tiandao would never be able to turn the tables. Mu Fei refused Han Li's proposal. Han Li's approach was too extreme, and countless lives would be killed for it. Zhongyu Star was his hometown after all, and Mu Fei still felt a little bit reluctant. It was useless for Mu Fei to refuse alone. Before there was a better way, only this method could be used. Heaven and earth are not kind, and all things are straw dogs. Mu Fei has now seen it thoroughly. The plan to activate the earth, fire, feng shui of Zhongyu Star has begun to be implemented, with this group of old 6, plus the weakening of Zhongyu Star Tiandao. Soon, Zhongyu Star Tiandao could not hold on, and Zhongyu Star, the middle world, was also pulled into the Tianyuan realm by Lin Tian and others. With the lesson of the last time in the wilderness, he learned smarter this time and did not integrate Zhongyu Star into the Tianyuan realm all at once, so as to avoid too much expansion and bring bad effects to the Tianyuan realm. While devouring Zhongyu Star Tiandao, he divided Zhongyu Star and gradually integrated it into the Tianyuan realm. It took 300 years for this process to be completed. After swallowing the entire Zhongyu Star, the volume of Tianyuan realm doubled, and the number of Mahayana cultivators also increased sharply, with an upper limit of 99. Today, the real-time data of Tianyuan realm is as follows. There are 4 Mahayana cultivators, namely Lin Tian, Hanli, Yixingchen, and Mu Fei. There was an episode in the middle. When the people of Tianyuan realm knew that when the immortal master Lin Tian returned, it caused quite a stir on this continent. Now, no one dared to actively seek death and provoke Fulongguan. Everyone understood that even if they didn't give face to Fulongguan, they had to give face to Lin Tian. They can have what they have today, all thanks to Lin Tian's contribution in the past. No matter what, this favor cannot be forgotten. The upper limit of the number of people in the Return to Void realm has reached 100,000, which is an unknown number of times higher than before. Now, he doesn't have to hold on to the number of people in the Return to Void realm. The quota for Return to Void realm is no longer useful. Let's not talk about anything else. There are only a few thousand Return to Void realm cultivators in Tianyuan realm now, which is far from the 100,000 mark. There is no upper limit below Return to Void realm. Even so, there are not many cultivators below Return to Void realm in Tianyuan realm. There are only tens of thousands of cultivators in the spiritualization stage. The nascent soul and golden core are better together, breaking through the million mark and moving towards 10 million. There has also been a significant improvement in foundation building and chi refining. The number of creatures in these 2 realms is approaching 1 billion, which is several times higher than before. Overall, Tianyuan realm is constantly moving forward. It is a pity that after swallowing the entire Zhongyu star, Tianyuan realm still failed to reach the level of a big world. Perhaps, if Tianyuan realm swallows another world, it can be promoted to the level of a big world. Chapter 73 Yi Liangchen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hundreds of years later, Tianyuan realm discovered another middle world. Although it is called the middle world, it is actually not much larger than the small world, and it barely entered the level of the middle world. Later, he fully understood the situation of this world. There is no Heavenly Dao in this world, but the Heavenly Dao is left to guard it, and this world is very interesting. It is not the well-known world of cultivation, but a Confucian and Taoist world. The so-called Confucian and Taoist world is to rely on talent to support cultivation. In the Confucian and Taoist world, the strongest Confucian saint is not weak. He can communicate with the heaven and earth, and reach it with a thought, which is not weaker than the strong man in the Return to Void realm. The only flaw is that his lifespan is short. Even the Confucian saint has a lifespan of no more than 1,000 years, which is not as good as the Jindan stage cultivator. He wanted to take over the Confucian and Taoist world by force, but finally found that it was impossible. The Heavenly Dao will of the Confucian and Taoist world has been ordered. Once the Confucian and Taoist world is destroyed by external factors, the Heavenly Dao will start the self-destruction mode. Moreover, if outsiders want to enter the Confucian and Taoist world, they need to pass the test of the will of heaven in the Confucian and Taoist world. Only after passing the test can they enter the Confucian and Taoist world. It seems difficult, but he found something interesting. The will of heaven in the Confucian and Taoist world also has an instruction in it. That is, if anyone gets the approval of the will of heaven, then this person will be the master of the Confucian and Taoist world in the future. It's really interesting. At this time, he thought of Yixingchen. It's best to send Yixingchen. Lin Tian and Hanli are not suitable. He told Yixingchen about the matter, and Yixingchen agreed without saying a word, and abandoned this flesh and blood. The soul, or the original spirit, was thrown into the Confucian and Taoist world. The moment Yixingchen's soul body came into contact with the Confucian and Taoist world, the will of heaven in the Confucian and Taoist world was immediately activated, stopping Yixingchen's soul body and asking Yixingchen a question. If you come to this world, what do you want to do? That this is to ask Yixingchen's ideal. If Yixingchen's answer can satisfy it, it will agree to let Yixingchen enter the Confucian and Taoist world. If Lin Tian or Hanli ask this question, it may be a little difficult. When it comes to ideals, he is the best. The 9 years of compulsory education in the previous life are not in vain. This is why he chose Yixingchen to come here. Yixingchen replied, with my ability, let the people of the world have a place to rely on when they are old, a place to raise children, a place to help the poor, and a place to treat the sick. The will of heaven in the Confucian and Taoist world was instantly stunned by Yixingchen. I know you are bragging, but please don't brag so hard. You brag like this, it makes me look stupid. After a long time, the will of heaven continued to ask questions. How do you want to achieve it? That Yixingchen answered directly without any consideration. everyone should be like a dragon. The will of heaven was silent again. Forget it, it's tired, destroy it. Yixingshen was too arrogant, and it was unbearable. It didn't want to talk to Yixingshen, so it slapped Yixingshen's soul body into the Confucian world. In Baisher town, the daughter-in-law of the Yi family was about to give birth today. Not long after, the daughter-in-law of the Yi family gave birth to a big fat boy. Yi Gong was very happy and set up a buffet for 3 days. Speaking of the Yi family was not a scholarly family, but they got rich by chance and became the richest in Baisher town. After the Yi family had money, the Yi family wanted to change their careers and turn to a scholarly family. Everyone knew that money was only temporary and would eventually become a low-class family. Only Confucian scholars from the aristocratic family could squeeze into the ranks of the upper class. Yi Gong didn't have that talent, so he couldn't learn to read and had to inherit the family property. Yi Gong's son was a little knowledgeable, but it was just a little, but he also committed the common problem of most Confucian scholars, who liked to listen to music in brothels and show off their literary talent to show how talented they were. In fact, he is almost 30 years old, but he is just a scholar, and this scholar is very watery, and he spent a lot of money to get it. It was the year before last that Yi Gong saw that his son was getting less and less motivated, and knew that this account was not working, and he needed to build a new account. Yi Gong no longer had the strength and ability, so he forced his son to get married. Yi Gong told his son that you can mess around outside or do other things, but the premise is that you must get married, give him a big fat grandson, and complete the inheritance of the Yi family. As long as you meet this requirement, Yi Gong will not care about him in the future. Yi Gong's son did it, and it must be said that he is very capable. Less than 3 months after getting married, his wife got pregnant, and now it is still a son. After the 3-day banquet, Yi Gong personally brought a generous gift and visited the home of the only scholar in Baisher town, hoping that this gentleman would name his grandson. In this Confucian and Taoist world, Confucian scholars are roughly divided into 3 levels: scholars, and great Confucian scholars. It seems simple, but it is not. The 3 levels are just a summary, and each level has specific divisions. The scholar level is divided into 3 grades, namely the 9th grade of enlightenment, the 8th grade of determination, and the 7th grade of benevolence. The same is true for the bachelor level, with the 6th grade of Confucian scholars, the 5th grade of virtue, and the 4th grade of gentlemen. The level of great Confucian scholars is a little different. If you want to become a great Confucian scholar, you need to condense the heart of literature and Taoism. The heart of literature and Taoism also has strengths and weaknesses, so people have also defined a standard for it: the 3rd grade of literature and Taoism heart, the 2nd grade of literature and Taoism heart, and the 1st grade of literature and Taoism heart. When a bachelor is promoted to a great Confucian scholar, he can condense the strongest heart of literature and Taoism and become a 1st-grade great Confucian scholar in one fell swoop. Of course, this does not mean that condensing the 3rd grade of literature and Taoism heart is weak. The heart of literature and Taoism can be further improved through cultivation. As long as the foundation is sufficient, it can also reach the level of a 1st-grade great Confucian scholar. Above the great Confucian scholar, there are 2 more realms: one is a semi-saint, and the other is a Confucian saint. Needless to say, it is conceivable how difficult it is to reach the last 2 realms in the realm of being called a saint. In other words, from ancient times to the present, there have only been 4 Confucian saints in the world of Confucianism and Taoism, and there are only 100 semi-saints. Although Yi Gong's son is a scholar, he is only a 9th grade enlightenment, and there is still a distance from the 8th grade life, and the scholar that Yi Gong visited is a 6th grade Confucian scholar. Not to mention the entire Baisher town, even in Qingyang city, he can be called a figure. Yi Gong's purpose is very simple, that is, he wants this scholar to name his grandson and get his talent. If Yi Gong's grandson can reach the level of a 6th grade Confucian scholar in the future, he can smile even if he dies. Although the Yi family is not a scholarly family, it is also a famous family in Baisher town. This time, Mr. Yi came personally with a generous gift. The scholar could not refuse Mr. Ye's face, so he gave a name to Mr. Ye's grandson. Up to this generation, the family tree of the Yi family has the character Liang. In other words, the first 2 characters of Mr. Ye's grandson have been determined, Yi Liang, and the last name is missing. The scholar calculated the 8 characters of Mr. Ye's grandson, and found that there was no lack of 5 elements in his fate, so there was no need to complete the 5 elements. So, the scholar gave Mr. Ye's Grandson the character Chen, and his full name was Liangchen. Chapter 74, A Great Scholar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liangchen is the reincarnation of Xianxia, the surname and given name match, only the generation character is missing, which is not a big problem. Liangchen, this name sounds good. Yi Gong was also satisfied with this name, so he decided on it. From today, he will be called Liangchen. In the blink of an eye, a year has passed, and it is Liangchen's first birthday party. Yi Gong held this first birthday party for his grandson very grandly, and invited the prominent figures in the whole Qingyang city to attend. Liangchen, the cheap father, also invited his friends to attend. Why do you say he is Liangchen's cheap father? In the words of the previous life, this is a scumbag. He doesn't care about his family or his son, and he only takes money from home to squander outside. In a year, this cheap father basically never lived at home, and the number of times he saw Liangchen was less than 1/10 of the number of times he visited brothels. If it weren't for the fact that his grandfather was so good to him, Liangchen would have persuaded his mother to remarry long ago. It's not worth being loyal to such a scumbag. The most important part of holding a birthday party is drawing lots. There are many objects on the table, such as books, brushes, abacus, gold ingots, flutes, etc. Many people firmly believe that what a child draws on his first birthday will determine what kind of person he will become in the future. Yi Gong is both looking forward to and afraid of what lot Liangchen can draw. He wants Xianxia to draw books and brushes. Even if he becomes a scholar, he just wants him not to be like his father. Many times, Yi Gong really wants to slap his son to death, because he can't do anything but ask for money. In the end, Yi Gong still endured it, and he had to swallow the child he gave birth to with tears. After the objects for drawing lots were placed, Liangchen was soon held up. It was also at this time that everyone's eyes were all on Liangchen, to see what Liangchen was going to draw. Without disappointing Mr. Yi, Liangchen grabbed 2 items, holding a book in his left hand and a pen in his right hand. A perfect scholar. Seeing the 2 items selected by Xianxia, Mr. Ye's uneasy heart finally settled down, and then he laughed heartily, and the guests who came also congratulated Mr. Yi. This boy has the appearance of a great scholar. It made Mr. Yi laugh again. Let alone a great scholar, Liangchen's ability to become a bachelor is considered to be a great achievement for the ancestors of the Yi family. Is it only the appearance of a great scholar? Liangchen sneered at this sentence. Do you know how to praise people, or do you say that I, Liangchen, am not worthy of your eyes? Thinking back to the beginning, in Tianqing sect, his grandfather Yi Chang had directly praised him for having the appearance of a great emperor, and now, it's just a great scholar. Liangchen felt insulted. After hiding for a year, Liangchen knew that it was time to show his talent, so 1 month after the birthday party, Liangchen learned to walk. 3 months later, Liangchen learned to speak. A child under 1.5 years old actually learned to walk and talk, which surprised Yi Gong. After reacting, Yi Gong laughed and praised my grandson as a genius. The fact that Liangchen learned to walk and talk before he was 1.5 years old also spread in Baisha town, attracting many people to talk about it, saying that the Yi family might really have a great talent. Fang Zhongyi personally visited the Yi family. He wanted to accept Liangchen as a disciple and be Liangchen's enlightenment teacher. Fang Zhongyi is the only scholar in Baisha town. Fang Zhongyi personally came to the door to take the initiative to accept a disciple, and Yi Gong naturally would not refuse and agreed directly. As a 6th-rank Confucian scholar, Fang Zhongyi has some connections behind him. If the Yi family can take advantage of Fang Zhongyi's boat, the chances of the Yi family's transformation into a scholarly family will be greatly increased. Yi Gong has a plan, and Fang Zhongyi naturally has one too. Liangchen learned to walk and speak at such a young age, which shows that this boy is extraordinary and has a high talent. If he is trained, his achievements in the future will not be inferior to his. He may really be a great scholar. If Liangchen can really become a great scholar, Fang Zhongyi will also be proud of it. Who said that Liangchen was his disciple, and he immediately had the capital to brag. Literati care about face the most. Both parties have their own interests, so this matter was settled. A few days later, Yi Gong took Liangchen to Fang Zhongyi's house with the apprenticeship gift. After Liangchen offered tea, Liangchen became Fang Zhongyi's disciple. Fang Zhongyi was also unambiguous and began to teach Liangchen carefully. 1 is one horizontal line, 2 is 2 horizontal lines, and 3 is 3 horizontal lines. Do you understand? Fang Zhongyi started to teach Yi Liangchen from the simplest numbers. Yi Liangchen nodded and replied, I know. At the same time, Yi Liangchen was thinking, Chinese is the universal language of the universe, it can be used everywhere, how could he not know it? Then do you know how to write the word for? Fang Zhongyi asked again, and at the same time, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Is it 4 horizontal lines? Of course Yi Liangchen knew how to write the word for, but it was not wise to write it directly, so he just treated it as a spoof. Sure enough, Fang Zhongyi's face changed instantly after hearing Yi Liangchen's words. If it is really written like this, I want you to write 10,000 words, you have to write for 3 days and 3 nights, don't be angry, you have to grasp it. Yi Liangchen is still young, just over 1 year old, and has never been exposed to literature. It is normal to think like this. Of course not, it will not be written like this after 4, it should be written like this. So, Fang Zhongyi taught all the numbers from 1 to 10, Yi Liangchen did not make fun of it again, and seemed to write it down seriously. It didn't take long for Yi Liangchen to learn all 10 numbers, this learning means reading and memorizing. Fang Zhongyi was very excited to learn all 10 numbers in such a short time. My disciple Yi Liangchen really has the appearance of a great scholar, however, this is not the end. The next question Yi Liangchen asked shocked Fang Zhongyi. Yi Liangchen said to Fang Zhongyi like this, Teacher, these numbers are too simple and very similar. For example, I can change 1 to 10, and I can also change it to 2 and 3, Fang Zhongyi is a 6th-rank Confucian scholar after all. When Yi Liangchen said this, Fang Zhongyi immediately realized that something was wrong and it was of great importance. If you use it yourself, there will be no problem. But if you use it for accounting, and the account book data is very large, this will be a big problem. Just as Yi Liangchen said, if this number was changed by someone with ulterior motives, then it would definitely be a big mistake, and it would be very difficult to find out. Liangchen, this matter is of great importance, you can't just tell anyone, now it's between you and me. When I submit the matter to the higher-ups, and they agree, we will make it public. Don't worry, the teacher won't embezzle your credit. Fang Zhongyi patiently explained to Yi Liangchen. How could Yi Liangchen not understand that the reason he brought it up was just to give his teacher some reputation? Chapter 75 Your father is really a big son. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fang Zhongyi wrote down the matter and sent it to his mentor. Speaking of Fang Zhongyi's mentor, he was a great Confucian of the 3rd rank. Finally, Fang Zhongyi's letter fell into the hands of Xuanhuan, the prime minister of the Daqian dynasty. Yes, this dynasty in the world of Confucianism and Taoism is also called the Daqian dynasty. There are many Daqian dynasties in the world. Xuanhuan frowned when he saw the content of the letter, when he learned that this question was raised by a 1.5-year-old child. Xuanhuan's face was filled with shock. He must be a child prodigy. Unfortunately, Fang Zhongyi's letter did not explain the solution. Xuanhuan summoned all the great scholars to discuss and resolve the matter. As a result, the meeting lasted for 3 days, and none of the great scholars could come up with a solution. In the end, a great scholar said that you can ask this person who brought this matter up. Maybe this person has a way to deal with it. Xuanhuan did not give this great scholar a clear answer. Fang Zhongyi did not explain it in the letter, indicating that he had no strategy to deal with it, and this question came from the mouth of a little kid. Maybe Yi Liangchen mentioned it casually. How can there be a solution if I can't even recognize the words? However, now that the matter was over, Xuanhuan still sent someone to ask Fang Zhongyi. Quan was treating a dead horse as a live doctor. After all, there was no loss. When Xuanhuan sent someone to inquire about countermeasures, Fang Zhongyi was really flattered, and at the same time lamented that Xuanhuan thought highly of him. I, a 6th-grade Confucian student, would like to come over to me, a 6th-grade Confucian student, for something that you, the great Confucians, cannot discuss when you get together. Fang Zhongyi had no choice but to ask Yi Liangchen. After all, he was the one who proposed the matter. Maybe Yi Liangchen would have something to do. Fang Zhongyi's operation also confused Yi Liangchen. I have a solution, but I can't say it. How old am I? I'm just over a year old. I'm still a baby. I can't even recognize the words. How do you ask me to answer? Yi Liangchen's ability to raise this question shows that he has a very broad mind. If we need to give him a way to deal with this, Yi Liangchen will no longer be a genius or a child prodigy, but a monster who defies the will of heaven. I can't say it, I really can't say it. Yi Liangchen refused to tell Fang Zhongyi, saying that he didn't know either. Yi Liangchen said he didn't know, but Fang Zhongyi already knew the answer to this matter. However, when the words "I don't know" came out of Yi Liangchen's mouth, Fang Zhongyi still felt a sigh of relief. What a great opportunity to become famous all over the world, but it's a pity that neither he nor Yi Liangchen seized it. The messenger brought Fang Zhongyi's words back to Guo Shiyuan. Guo Shiyuan had no other reaction to this. Everything was as he expected. Although Fang Zhongyi and Yi Liangchen didn't give them a way to deal with it, they gave them the idea of avoiding lightning. There should be some rewards, otherwise it will chill people's hearts. Therefore, Guo Shiyuan sent people to give some rewards to Fang Zhongyi and the Yi family, and also sent people to spread the name of Yi Liangchen's magical powers. Guo Shiyuan was building momentum for Yi Liangchen. If Yi Liangchen was really a genius, he would be a good candidate for studying. With the blessing of this name, in the future imperial examinations, no examiner will embarrass him, which can be regarded as opening a direct path for Yi Liangchen. When Yi Gong received a reward from the court and learned that his grandson was famous, Yi Gong's face was red and he couldn't close his smile. His Yi family is really going to have a dragon. Yi Gong was very happy and held another banquet, inviting many friends to come and celebrate. Yi Liangchen's cheap dad also came, bringing with him a bunch of friends. Now, this cheap dad has bragging rights again and can proudly say outside, "Yi Liangchen is my son." On this day, Yi Liangchen suddenly said to his mother, "Mom, why don't you reconcile with my father and find someone you like? Don't worry, I will definitely get you a compensation from Grandpa so that you will have no worries for the rest of your life." Crack! That as soon as Yi Liangchen finished speaking, his mother slapped him and taught Yi Liangchen a lesson. Children talk nonsense. She knew that Yi Liangchen's father didn't like her and felt that she was delaying her from reciting poems for fun outside. If it weren't for Yi Liangchen, she might have had this thought. After having Yi Liangchen, and with Yi Liangchen's amazing talent, she no longer had this idea. I can play however I want, just don't delay his mother and I. Moreover, Yi Liangchen's mother also saw that Yi Gong had no intention of passing on the family business to Yi Liangchen's father. With Yi Liangchen's father like this, within 2 years, the Yi family will be ruined sooner or later. In other words, after Yi Gong leaves, the family business will fall on Yi Liangchen. With Yi Liangchen supporting her, she was afraid that she would not want to remarry with Li until she was exhausted. After she took action, she felt sorry for Yi Liangchen again. It's all my mother's fault. Does it hurt? After all, Yi Liangchen was also thinking about her, so how could she not feel distressed? Yi Liangchen shook his head and said, "Mom, don't worry, when I grow up, I will let him kneel in front of you." This time, Yi Liangchen didn't even call him daddy, born without nourishment, born without education. As a father, he usually doesn't stay at home and spends all his time outside, having fun. Yi Liangchen doesn't want such a father. At this moment, Yi Liangchen's mother also fell silent. "You are really your father's great son. You always asked me to make peace with your father. When we couldn't make peace with each other, you wanted to arrest your father and kneel down to me." Yes, this child has no Korea and knows how to care for his mother. Half a year later, when Yi Liangchen was 2 years old, he had already recognized all the basic characters. He could read and understood the meaning. Just write this, it's like a dog chewing it. Fang Zhongyi didn't say anything to Yi Liangchen. He was just a 2-year-old child, and he didn't think about the fact that other children of this age were still breastfeeding. Yi Liangchen was able to recognize all the characters in half a year. He was already a child prodigy. Fang Zhongyi was very pleased. In the following time, Fang Zhongyi began to teach Yi Liangchen to practice calligraphy. Yi Liangchen had something to say about this. During the 9 years of compulsory education, he had never touched a brush at all. Only in art class would the teacher chat with them and fill a cup. He said that if you want to practice calligraphy, you must persevere, and practicing for a few days alone will not achieve anything. Students who are interested can come to me to sign up, and I can open an interest class after class. Yi Liangchen was not interested at all. After coming to the Tianyuan realm, Yi Liangchen was either practicing or exploring the void. How could he have the heart to practice calligraphy? Is calligraphy more important than cultivating immortals? Of course not. it can only work in this Confucian and Taoist world. There is spiritual energy in the Confucian and Taoist world, but it is very thin and not suitable for cultivation at all. Liangchen has been trying to cultivate for 2 years, with almost no progress, and has barely entered the first level of qi refining. If Han Li and others knew about this, they would be laughed at to death. After all, he is a great master in the Mahayana period. How come it took him 2 years to enter the first level of qi refining after reincarnation? It's really embarrassing. Chapter 76 Tongsheng, 9th Grade Awakening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After practicing calligraphy for 2.5 years, Liangchen's handwriting finally looked like it was not gnawed by a dog. His regular script was pleasing to Fang Zhongyi. After that, Fang Zhongyi began to teach Liangchen to learn the 4 books and 5 classics. That's right, the Confucian and Taoist world also has its own 4 books and 5 classics. When studying the 4 books and 5 classics, Liangchen discovered a flaw. These articles have no punctuation marks, and the whole article is a single shot. This created a problem. Without the guidance of a famous teacher, who breaks sentences for you, translates for you, and lets you flip through the book, you can also see what the truth is. Moreover, the right to interpret these classic books is entirely in the hands of the aristocratic families. This is why the aristocratic families have survived for thousands of years, because they have blocked the upper passages. Without their permission, you can't climb up. After experiencing the previous incident, Liangchen felt that he was not a very reliable teacher, so Liangchen didn't want to reveal his thoughts on punctuation marks. Besides, the nature of the two is different. The lowercase numbers were proposed to prevent people from falsifying accounts and embezzling. Although they hated Liangchen, they would not do anything to him. Punctuation marks are different. Once implemented, it is equivalent to touching the cake of the aristocratic families. These aristocratic families are rich and powerful, and it is not easy to kill a little kid like him. Therefore, for some things, before Liangchen has the ability to deal with them, he should keep a low profile and not do it all at once. Liangchen had never learned the complete 4 books and 5 classics before, and the textbooks were all excerpts, but it did not prevent Liangchen from being a demon and having a photographic memory. After Fang Zhongyi translated it for him, Liangchen could draw inferences from one example. In just 1 year, when Liangchen was 6 years old, Liangchen had mastered the 4 books and 5 classics and could recite them backwards. With Liangchen's current strength, it is not a problem to take the examination for a Tongsheng. A 6-year-old Tongsheng. Fang Zhongyi had never thought about it, and the same was true for Yi Gong. Fang Zhongyi discussed with Mr. Yi and wanted Liangchen to try. It didn't matter if he failed the exam. He could just treat it as a training. Mr. Yi agreed to Fang Zhongyi's proposal and asked Liangchen to sign up for the Qingyang city's provincial examination this year. The setting in the novel is somewhat different from the ancient imperial examination. Please don't delve into it, just enjoy it. Liangchen followed the opinions of the 2 elders and signed up for the Qingyang city's provincial examination this year. The level of the provincial examination was pretty good, but for Liangchen, it was not a mess. There is no doubt that Liangchen overwhelmed the heroes and won the first place in the Qingyang city and rural examination, becoming a boy student. It was also at this moment that Liangchen was recognized by this world, gained talent, successfully entered the 9th rank and became a real scholar. A 6-year-old boy and a 9th rank, Liangchen became famous in Qingyang city. No one suspected that Liangchen was cheating. A few years ago, Liangchen was famous and praised by the Prime Minister of the time. In the past few years, Liangchen has been much more low-key and has not come to the fore again, making people mistakenly believe that his genius is just a flash in the pan. Xuanhuan, who was far away in Kyoto, also heard the news and couldn't help but sigh. Liangchen is a prodigy of the time. Fang Zhongyi is really lucky to have such a good seedling. Liangchen won the first place in the Qingyang city and countryside examination. Yi Gong was extremely happy. When he was undecided, he directly held a banquet and invited many friends to celebrate. Fang Zhongyi was also excited and got drunk at the banquet. Really, Fang Zhongyi has never been so happy, and it can be said that he is proud of himself. Others don't know what Fang Zhongyi thinks, they only know that he is a 6th-rank Confucian scholar, the only one in Baisha town. Who knows, the 6th-rank Confucian scholar is nothing. His fellow brothers and sisters, which one is not above him? Some have even reached the level of great Confucian scholars. and the disciples he taught are all promising and are about to catch up with him. In desperation, Feng Zhongyi had to leave his master's door and return to Baishe town to spend the rest of his life. He knew that his life was completely hopeless, but who knew that he would meet Liangchen, this monster? Feng Zhongyi suddenly felt that he had the capital to turn the tables again. Liangchen won the first place in the Qingyang city and country examination this time, and Feng Zhongyi's teacher also knew about it. He wrote to him personally, asking him when he would take Liangchen, his disciple, to meet his master. His teacher personally wrote to meet Liangchen, which showed that the teacher had very high expectations for Liangchen, which exceeded many disciples. As Liangchen's teacher, how could Feng Zhongyi not be happy and excited? After being depressed for so many years, he finally stood up. Liangchen obtained the title of Tongsheng. Next, Feng Zhongyi began to teach Liangchen to write poems, cultivate talent with knowledge, and wait until he was fully enlightened and determine the path to take in the future, before he could step into the 8th rank to establish his destiny. If he did not establish his destiny, the highest he could be was a scholar, and he could not continue to participate in the imperial examination. Liangchen's father just didn't know where his path was. He spent his days in debauchery and failed to establish himself. He deserved it. After studying with Feng Zhongyi for another 2 years, Liangchen was now 8 years old. He knew everything he should know, and Feng Zhongyi could no longer teach him. Feng Zhongyi was sighing in his heart that his disciple was really gifted. The county exam, which was held every 3 years, was coming. Feng Zhongyi asked Liangchen if he wanted to try. With Liangchen's intelligence, it was not a problem to get a place as a scholar. This time, Liangchen refused. He didn't want to take the county exam for the time being. He wanted to do something first. Once this thing was done, he would not only increase his talent, but also probably get the recognition of the will of heaven. Liangchen never forgot what his purpose was in coming here. Liangchen said to Feng Zhongyi, "Can you write a book that is good for children's enlightenment, popular to read, and can also increase everyone's knowledge?" When Feng Zhongyi first heard Liangchen's proposal, his first reaction was, "Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could there be such a book? If there is, those saints and semi-saints would have written it long ago." Feng Zhongyi wanted to refute Liangchen and tell him that this was unrealistic, considering that Liangchen could not study it with ordinary people's methods. Feng Zhongyi did not attack Liangchen, but asked Liangchen if he had any ideas in his mind. Facing Feng Zhongyi's question, Liangchen nodded, and after thinking for several days, Liangchen wrote the entire 1,000 characters. "The sky and the earth are dark yellow, and the universe is vast and wild. The sun and the moon are waxing and waning, and the stars are lined up. Winter comes and summer goes, autumn harvests and winter stores." Just at the moment when Liangchen finished writing, a strange phenomenon appeared in the Confucian and Taoist world, and everyone in the Confucian and Taoist world could see it. Then, a stream of talent surged between heaven and earth, and finally sank into Liangchen's body. After Liangchen received this talent, his literary realm was raised to the 9th level of enlightenment. As long as he completed the establishment of destiny, he could become an 8th-level scholar in the establishment of destiny. Chapter 77. 2 Children Arguing About the Sun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kyoto, Xianxia Academy, is the first academy in Dogon. Its president, Kong Yingda, is a great scholar with a first-class literary and Taoist heart. Kong Yingda noticed the strange phenomenon in the world in an instant. The place where the strange phenomenon appeared is Fengzhou. Who wrote the amazing masterpiece that caused the strange phenomenon in the world? Kong Yingda was thinking in his heart, there are several great scholars in Fengzhou. Kong Yingda knew these great scholars. The highest among them was only the second-class literary and Taoist heart. Kong Yingda could still guess how much ink they had in their stomachs. This strange phenomenon in the world must not be caused by them. Then, apart from them, who else would be in Fengzhou? Could it be a half-saint traveling in the world? This is the only possibility. Prime Minister Guo Xiuyuan was far away. Guo Xiuyuan also noticed the abnormality of the world and guessed the place where the strange phenomenon appeared. Could it be that the strange phenomenon in the world was caused by this child? Guo Xiuyuan was secretly guessing in his heart, because the place where the strange phenomenon appeared was in Fengzhou. Qingyang city was under the jurisdiction of Fengzhou. In the Dogon Palace, the emperor also noticed the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth, and hurriedly sent people out to investigate. He wanted to know the result as soon as possible. As one of the parties involved, Fang Zhongyi was stunned by the strange phenomenon happening next to him. A few days ago, Liangchen asked him if he had any books that were helpful for children's enlightenment, and Fang Zhongyi shook his head and said no. Unexpectedly, it has not been long since Liangchen wrote a book, and it has been recognized by heaven and earth. What virtue and ability does he, Fang Zhongyi, have to accept a monster disciple? My disciple has a great scholar. Bah! What great scholar? My disciple has the appearance of a saint. With this strange phenomenon, even if a half-saint comes, he dare not compete with it. Teacher, this 1,000 characters is handed over to you. After the strange phenomenon of heaven and earth ended, Liangchen handed the 1,000 characters written to Fang Zhongyi. Liangchen thought that if he wanted to promote the 1,000 characters, it would be most appropriate to hand it over to Fang Zhongyi, because he has a way behind him. Okay, Liangchen, you've worked hard. Take a good rest these days. Liangchen actually handed the original to him. Fang Zhongyi was so happy that he smiled. The chapter of the birth of the world was recognized by the world. The original chapter contained a lot of talent, which could make people's minds clear and benefited the readers. It doesn't matter if it's useless. The original collection value is unknown and cannot be measured by money. That's it. Fang Zhongyi framed the 1,000 characters and hung it at home. Even the great scholars had to be polite to him. Fang Zhongyi definitely made a lot of money this time. Writing 1,000 characters could actually trigger the strange phenomena of the world. This was something Liangchen didn't expect. Without taking precautions in advance, it didn't take long for someone to know that the leader behind the matter was Liangchen. It was Liangchen who wrote 1,000 characters and was recognized by the world. Countless literati and poets gathered in the small place of Baisha town, all wanting to meet this talented young man and absorb the talent of Liangchen. There are also many great scholars who clearly expressed their desire to accept Liangchen as a true disciple. There are also many academies that have sent invitations to Liangchen. As long as Liangchen goes to their academy to study, all expenses are free. Fang Zhongyi's master also wrote to him again, asking Fang Zhongyi to take Liangchen back to the master this time. Everyone wants to see Liangchen, the child prodigy, but who knows that after Liangchen wrote this 1,000-character article, he left a letter to Fang Zhongyi and Yi Gong respectively, and then left Baisha town. No one knows where Liangchen went. Liangchen said in the letter that he lived in the Yi family for 8 years and studied with Fang Zhongyi for more than 6 years. In these 8 years, Liangchen lived a carefree life. Except for his cheap father who was not worthy of being a son, he had a mother who cared for him, a grandfather who loved him, and a teacher who taught him carefully. He was very satisfied with all this. At this point, Liangchen began to turn around. Liangchen said that he might disappoint Yi Gong and Fang Zhongyi, and his ambition was not to pass the imperial examination. His ideals were scattered in every corner of the world, and he wanted to go and see, if there were no strange phenomena in the world caused by the 1,000 characters. He would have gone 2 years later. When he was older, now, Liangchen had to go ahead of schedule. Finally, Liangchen told them not to worry, and not to be upset, because he had a way to survive and would return safely. After reading his letter, Liangchen's mother burst into tears. Liangchen was only 8 years old this year. If an 8-year-old child was allowed to venture into the world alone, no one would believe it. After reading the letter, Yi Gong could no longer be happy, and he directly asked someone to drag his useless son back home. After Yi Gong personally gave him a few whips, he sent someone to guard the kid. In the future, if the kid dared to go out and fool around without his consent, he would break his legs directly. Good guy. Yi Gong took out all his anger on Liangchen, the cheap father. It is true that Liangchen, this cheap father, should have been beaten long ago. After reading Liangchen's letter, Fang Zhongyi's old face turned red and he felt ashamed. Since he accepted Liangchen as his disciple, he seemed to have forgotten his original intention of studying and has been immersed in self-joy. Unexpectedly, the most sober person was Liangchen, not arrogant or impatient, with a clear mind. Liangchen's destination was much higher than he expected. A few days after leaving Baisha town, Liangchen came to a place called Nyojia village. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the village, Liangchen saw 2 children arguing. They were younger than Liangchen, about 6 years old. Liangchen was a little curious, so he walked up to see what the 2 were arguing about. When the 2 children saw Liangchen, they thought that Liangchen was older than them, so they asked Liangchen to judge and see who was right. The first child said that he thought the sun was closest to them in the morning because it looked as big as a wheel in the morning, and at noon, it was only as big as a small plate. Isn't it smaller when far away and bigger when near? The other child argued that he thought the sun was closest to them at noon because it was the hottest at noon and cooler in the morning. Isn't it the truth that it is hot when near and cool when far away? Oh, Liangchen never expected that he would have the honor to see two children arguing about the sun in this world, and he was the protagonist. What did Liangchen say? Did he say that both of their views were wrong? This was not appropriate, and they needed to understand it themselves. Liangchen picked up a stone from the ground and walked in a circular arc, then asked the first child which direction the stone looked big and which direction the stone looked small. The first child answered Liangchen that they seemed to be the same size, but also seemed to be a little different, sometimes close and sometimes far. What was going on? Liangchen didn't tell him the answer and looked at the other child. Liangchen lit a fire and asked the child to stretch his hand over to warm it. At the same height, after a while, the child felt his hand was hot and immediately retracted his hand. It was also at this time that Liangchen asked, "Do you know the answer?" Both children were confused. When did the answer come out? Chapter 78, Come and Play, Handsome Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liangchen touched their heads and said, "The answer is inside. Go back and think about it slowly. You must be careful in the future. You are not allowed to run around without adults around. Do you understand?" "Oh, by Big Brother," that the two children nodded ignorantly, then turned around and went home. Liangchen watched the two people leave. When they disappeared from Liangchen's sight, Liangchen pulled out a sword about 3 feet long from his backpack. The length of the sword is just right for Liangchen now. Liangchen's eyes were cold and he said to the weeds on one side, "Stop hiding, come out." As soon as Liangchen's voice fell, there was movement in the weeds, and there was a hissing sound. A giant python appeared in front of Liangchen. He estimated that the python was 10 meters long and weighed about 1,000 kilograms, so scary. Liangchen was the only one who was calm. If it had been anyone else, they would have been frightened to death. TSK. I just said, "How could you find me?" It turns out that I have reached the 9th level. He is a talented boy who has enlightened himself at such a young age. God has mercy and finally allowed me to encounter it today. The python spit out a human voice, its eyes kept staring at Liangchen, and its tongue kept moving out. It treats Liangchen as a delicacy. Liangchen was also curious. Unexpectedly, the fairies in the world of Confucianism and Taoism could learn human language and speak human language, which was interesting. Liangchen was not in a hurry to take action, and asked, "Do you think so, you can eat me? It's not like I've never tasted a 9th grade enlightened scholar." The python is very proud. Its current strength is equivalent to the 8th level human being. It is not easy to deal with a 9th level scholar. Not to mention anything else, he has already been crushed in terms of figure. What's more, seeing that Liangchen is so young, he must have just entered the 9th level and gained enlightenment. In this case, it is not just left to its own devices. Liangchen asked, "So, you have eaten a lot of people. It's useless to talk. You can't escape. You are destined to be my lunch today." The python didn't want to continue talking to Liangchen. It didn't know if Liangchen had any accomplices. It understands the truth that villains die from talking too much, and the most important thing is to eat Liangchen first. "I guess I'm going to disappoint you." After he finished speaking, a sword energy passed through and chopped off the python's head from 7 inches away. When the snake's head fell to the ground, the python did not die immediately, and there were all kinds of doubts in its eyes. "What method did you use just now? Why have I never seen it before?" Liangchen looked at the snake head on the ground and joked, "You don't want to tell me, but I have to tell you. Yes, you guessed it right. On the surface, I am a Confucian scholar, but secretly I am a cultivator. I am just a 4th level qi refining person. Alas, I am only at the 4th level of qi refining, so it is really not of much use." At the end, Liangchen couldn't help but sigh. "I have been practicing since my mother's womb, and it has been 8 years now." it had been 8 years, a full 8 years, and he had only reached the 4th level of chi refining. It was so bad that he was embarrassed to brag to the python. You. The boa constrictor didn't know if he was angry with Liangchen, but he couldn't say the last sentence and died directly. Looking at this huge body, Liangchen had no appetite at all. A small snake is fine too, so you can kill it and roast it. To be honest, Liangchen couldn't keep his mouth shut about such a big python. It would not be good to just lie at the entrance of Xianxia village, as it would cause panic among the villagers. Better burn it. Liangchen used the fireball technique to burn the python to ashes. After the matter was settled, Liangchen did not enter Xianxia village and continued walking along the next intersection. After walking for half a month, Liangchen arrived at Mo City. As its name suggests, Macheng is a home of heaven, with several champions and many literati disciples. Naturally, there are many places to listen to music. There are so many places to listen to music, which puts a lot of pressure on the boss, and the girls have come out to invite guests. I have to say that their professionalism is very good. They don't care about their origins or family matters, only money. Even little boys like Liangchen have become targets in their eyes. The words "little handsome boy, come and play" instantly brought Liangchen back to his childhood. Liangchen did not leave just like that, but stepped forward and asked, "What's dad's name?" Well, all the girls were stunned by Liangchen's words. Of course they knew what their father's name was, and they believed that Liangchen also knew it. Wouldn't it be a bit boring to answer Liangchen based on the facts? One of the girls responded cheerfully to Liangchen, "Little brother, do you want to be my sister's father?" As soon as these words came out, the other girls instantly burst into laughter. Originally, Liangchen thought that he was very thick-skinned, but compared to them, he was completely at the bottom. Liangchen surrendered and quickly fled this place of right and wrong. At the same time, Liangchen also understood why Cheap Daddy liked coming to this place. They are all fairies, and they speak so nicely that no ordinary person can resist them. Seeing that it was getting late, Liangchen needed to find a place to stay. There are many inns in Macheng City, but unfortunately Liangchen didn't have any money with him and couldn't afford to stay there, so he had to go to the suburbs to find a family to stay for one night. As soon as Liangchen knocked on the door, a voice came from the house. "Who is it?" The voice sounded like that of an old man, and there was a hint of panic in his words. Maybe it's because a stranger knocked on the door at night. "It's normal to be a little frightened," Liangchen replied. Xiaosheng was passing by and saw that it was getting late. He passed by the treasure land and wanted to stay here for one night. After he finished speaking, Liangchen felt that the words were a little strange and seemed familiar. Not long after, the door opened, and an old man, about 60 years old, poked his head out. The old man saw that it was a child. He wanted to open the door and let Liangchen in, but he didn't move even half an inch. "Brother, it's not peaceful here tonight. You'd better go to other houses and look around. I still have 2 pieces of cake here. If I don't mind, I will take them to satisfy my hunger." The old man handed 2 crumpled cakes to Liangchen. "Don't underestimate these 2 cakes, maybe these 2 cakes are a meal for this family." Liangchen could tell from his eyes that the old man had a kind heart. He didn't want Liangchen to get involved, so he refused to stay overnight. Liangchen did not refuse and took the cake from the old man. He happened to be hungry too. "Grandpa, may I ask, is there something wrong here?" Liangchen asked. "Since I have received favor from others, I should return the favor. What's more, Liangchen's arrival here also shows that he is destined to the old man." It didn't matter that Liangchen hadn't met him. Since he had met him, there was no reason to ignore him, otherwise it would have violated his original intention of coming to this world. The old man sighed and said, "Hey little brother, it's better that you don't know and leave as soon as possible." Chapter 79 Human Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under Liangchen's insistence, the old man finally told the truth. The thing is, the old man has a grandson named Ma Sheng, who is a few years older than Liangchen. He is a student studying at Mo Academy. Not long ago, Ma Sheng began to be away from home. At first, their family did not think much about it. It might be that Ma Sheng was tired of studying in the academy, or that the teacher had other instructions and was busy and could not come back, but for several days in a row, Ma Sheng still did not return home, and there was no other news. Now, the old man's family began to panic. They guessed that something must have happened, so, the old man's child, that is, Ma Xing's father, went to Mo Academy to ask. At first, the teacher of Mo Academy and Ma Xing's friends deceived the child's father and said that Ma Xing was sent to other academies for exchange and it would take some time to come back. Ma Xing's father was a coolie and had never been to school, but he was not so easy to deceive. He didn't know what talent his child had. He could read a little, but it was far from the level of exchange in the academy. Besides, even if it was an exchange in the academy, was the time so tight that there was no time to even notify the family? Ma Xing's father didn't believe it, and he continued to ask questions. As a result, the teacher became impatient and forcibly dragged Ma Xing's father out of the academy on the grounds of disturbing the academy. Later, it was still a classmate of Ma Xing. He felt sorry for Ma Xing's father and secretly told them the matter. It turned out that Ma Xing was dead and was beaten to death. A few days ago, Ma Xing didn't know what happened to provoke Wang Yud, and was severely beaten by Wang Yud and his 2 followers. He didn't know the severity of the attack and beat Ma Xing to death. Wang Yud is a member of the Wang family in Macheng. The Wang family ranks first in Macheng, and Wang Yud is the grandson of the current head of the Wang family. He is usually arrogant and domineering, doing all kinds of evil, and is the #1 bully in Macheng. Wang Yud is of noble status, and Ma Xing is just a child of a commoner. Malyo Academy will make its own decision on which is more important. Fearing that it would damage the reputation of Malyo Academy made a decision. Ma Xing's body was buried secretly, and the students of the academy were told not to pass on the news. Once discovered, they would be dealt with seriously. When Ma Xing's family came to ask about Ma Xing's news, they could tell Ma Xing's family that Ma Xing represented Malyo Academy to participate in exchanges with other academies. After waiting for a while, they could tell Ma Xing's family that Ma Xing was killed on the way back, and some compensation would be considered as the past, since the money was paid by the Wang family anyway. Malyo Academy never expected that there were still students who had justice in their hearts and secretly informed Ma Xing's father of the situation. Ma Xing's father cried loudly after learning about this, and came to Malyo Academy to ask for an explanation. Seeing that the matter had been exposed, the teacher of Malyo Academy told Ma Xing's father that Ma Xing died accidentally and had nothing to do with other people. Malyo Academy could compensate Ma Xing's father with a sum of money so that Ma Xing's father would let this matter go. Ma Xing's father naturally refused. He wanted to see the murderer and make him pay with his life. Seeing that Ma Xing's father was so stubborn, Mo Academy did not want to continue to wade into this muddy water, so it threw the matter to the Wang family and told the Wang family to handle the matter properly and not to affect the reputation of Mo Academy. The Wang family was used to being domineering in Mo City, and those who did not listen to him would only die. Ma Xing's father had one leg broken by the Wang family, and they warned Ma Xing's father that if they wanted to make trouble again, it would not be as simple as breaking a leg next time, and their whole family would die. Afterwards, the Wang family also sent people to patrol near Ma Xing's house to see if Ma Xing's family was honest. The old man did not let Liangchen stay overnight and let him leave early for Liangchen's good. Speaking of which, Liangchen was not a good person either. In order to compete for resources and time, many innocent people died because of him. Having said that, Liangchen still had a conscience in his heart. After listening to the old man's story, Liangchen was filled with indignation and uttered 2 words, beast. This beast not only refers to Wang Yud, but also includes the Wang family of Macheng, Malyo Academy, and even the government. The old man did not mention the government at all. If you think about it, you will know that the government is also involved in this matter. The Wang family, Malyo Academy, and the government must have communicated with each other. Liangchen will take care of such a despicable thing. Liangchen said, Grandpa, is it convenient for me to go in and see the uncle? This. The old man showed embarrassment on his face. He had said it so clearly, why couldn't Liangchen listen to it? This would harm Liangchen. As if seeing the old man's worry, Liangchen revealed his identity as a student. Grandpa, don't worry. I'm a student. Even the government can't arrest me without knowing the truth. What's more, I'm a Confucian scholar of the 9th rank. This is the good thing about the Confucian world. As long as you pass the exam, no matter how high or low your fame is, you will enjoy the status of a Confucian scholar, and the government can't arrest you at will. when the old man saw that Liangchen was a student, and a Confucian scholar of the 9th rank, he admired Liangchen from the bottom of his heart. He was a student at such a young age, and he was admitted to the 9th rank, and he really became a Confucian scholar. If his grandson was half as good as Liangchen, Wang Yi probably wouldn't dare to kill him, and Maoyo Academy wouldn't shelter criminals. The old man took a sneaky look around and saw that there was no one, so he let Liangchen in. After Liangchen entered the house, he saw an old lady in the house, who was probably the old man's wife. From this we can see that originally this family was still happy, with both old and young. Maybe their life was not satisfactory, but at least they were not mentally shocked. Unfortunately, Ma Sheng was beaten to death by the beast, and Ma Sheng's father also had a leg broken when he asked for an explanation. Now the old lady in the house is crying all day long, and she doesn't know how to live in the future. Where is the child's mother? Liangchen asked another question. The old man replied, she had a difficult birth. Grandpa, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Liangchen apologized quickly, and he was wrong just now. This family is really full of disasters. It's okay, we have been used to it for so many years. The old man shook his head, indicating that he didn't care. On the contrary, the old man was surprised that a scholar would apologize to people like them. This was something he had never seen before. At this time, the old lady also reacted. Seeing Liangchen, a stranger, she also asked the old man, who is this? Before the old man answered, Liangchen took the initiative to say to the old lady, Grandma, hello, I came in to see the uncle. Ah. Oh, the old lady didn't react much. Liangchen could see that the old lady had lost hope in life. Liangchen didn't say anything else, and turned to visit the middle-aged man lying on the bed, Ma Sheng's father. Ma Sheng's father saw Liangchen looking at him. Due to physical problems, he couldn't get up. He said to Liangchen with regret, Child, you shouldn't come in. Chapter 80 Who will be spared by heaven? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Ma Sheng's father didn't know who Liangchen was, he could tell from Liangchen's words that Liangchen was a good person, at least for now. I'll be fine, uncle, please rest assured. Uncle, let me see your legs. After saying that, Liangchen reached over and lifted up Ma Sheng's father's leg. As the old man said, one of Ma Sheng's legs was indeed broken. It wasn't that it was chopped off, but the leg was still intact, but the bones inside were broken and there was a big red bump on the outside. Poor people don't have money for medical treatment, and it's even more difficult with a broken bone. He just wrapped some weeds in a cloth and held him like this, and Liangchen could feel that Ma Sheng's father's body temperature was hot. It can be seen from this that Ma Sheng's father was able to persevere, no matter how much he suffered, or what kind of perseverance allowed him to endure the hardships. Was it Ma Sheng's death? Perhaps Ma Sheng's father still wants to help his son seek justice. It's ruined, there's nothing to see. Ma Sheng's father sighed. He knew very well that even if he could survive, it would be difficult for his family to survive without his labor force. The whole generation of the Ma family was about to end in his hands. Ma Sheng's father was very unwilling to do so. Even if he went down, he would not have the face to meet his ancestors. At this moment, Ma Sheng's father felt an energy nourishing his injured leg. This feeling was so comfortable, and they could clearly see that the redness and swelling on their legs was quickly dissipating. Ma Sheng's father felt that the pain in his legs was gone and the high fever in his body had subsided. Ma Sheng's family was all shocked. It would not be an exaggeration to say that it was the method of the immortal family. They had never seen any Confucian scholar with such ability. Thank you, immortal. Ma Sheng's father wanted to stand up and kneel down to Liangchen on the spot, but Liangchen stopped him on the spot. Uncle, your leg is not completely healed yet. I just helped you reattach the bone. As the saying goes, it takes 100 days to break your muscles and bones, but yours is even more serious. Even if you recover, you won't be able to do heavy work. Liangchen currently only has the 4th level of qi refining, and can only heal to this point. If he wants to completely cure Ma Sheng's father's leg, he needs to build the foundation. It's already good, it's already good. Seeing that I can still come back with my life, even though I won't be able to do heavy work in the future, it is still better than dying. Ma Xing's father felt that he was very lucky to meet such a noble man as Yi Liangchen in his lifetime. When Ma Xing's father came back, Yi Liangchen continued, I want to seek justice for Ma Xing. I wonder what you think, uncle. Ma Xing's father couldn't answer Yi Liangchen for a while. In the end, Ma Xing's father shook his head, showing his helplessness. We, the poor, cannot defeat them. Through this incident, Ma Xing's father has looked away. He knows very well that Ma Xing's death was in vain. Furthermore, this family still has his parents. The second elder is already old and has only a few years left to live. He does not want the second elder to continue to suffer. The saying that filial piety is first and no successor is the most important thing has no effect on Ma Xing's father. It's good to live in the present. What's more, this kind of thing is not unique to his family. There are countless such cases all over the country. Once you look at it and think about it, you will know that their lives are not lives at all. Just like animals, there is no life at all. Knowing that one day it will be taken away, in this regard, Yi Liangchen can understand the mood of Ma Xing's father. Uncle, do you believe in the saying that heaven will reincarnate and God will spare no one? Yi Liangchen asked Ma Xing's father. The original sentence of this sentence is that good and evil will eventually be rewarded, and the way of heaven is reincarnation. If you don't believe it, look up and see who will be spared by heaven. If you blink of an eye, you will see that this is the truth. In fact, good people will not live long, but harm will last for thousands of years. Ma Xing's father wanted to say that he believed it, but he couldn't get the words out of his mouth. Everything is fate, nothing is up to you. Yi Liangchen shook his head and said these words indifferently. After that, Yi Liangchen raised his head and looked at the sky, as if he was once again looking at the will of heaven in the world of Confucianism and Taoism. My destiny is up to me. Yi Liangchen didn't dare to say this in the Tianyuan world, but in the Confucian and Taoist world, it could still scare him. When the real world of Confucianism and Taoism comes, Yi Liangchen may keep a low profile and give him face, but it is a will of heaven, and the program is set. What can be done to it? Don't be afraid, just be angry. Seeing Yi Liangchen's eyes looking at each other, the eyes of Confucianism, Taoism and Heavenly will also stayed for a moment. Not long after, the will of heaven turned around and threw itself to the ground. I don't know if it was because of a guilty conscience or something. At the same time, the semi-sacred heart still alive in the world of Confucianism and Taoism felt something and opened their eyes one after another. Strange, why do I feel the sky shaking? Is something wrong? Could it be that a new saint has emerged? Only this explanation makes sense. From ancient times to the present, heavenly vibrations have only occurred 4 times, all when the 4 saints were sanctified. Back at Ma's house, Yi Liangchen saw that Ma Xing's father was still hesitant and said, Uncle, don't worry. I am fully responsible for this matter. When witnesses are needed, Uncle can just come out and testify. Hearing Yi Liangchen's words, Ma Xing's father didn't know what to say. He chose to retreat, but let an outsider stand up for him. It was very embarrassing to speak out. When Ma Xing's father didn't know how to make a decision, the old man spoke. Son, do whatever you want to do, don't worry about your mother and me. You have also seen your mother's condition. If she continues like this, she won't live for many days. Yi Liangchen promised to help their family get justice. Regardless of whether the matter can be accomplished or not, they have to accept Yi Liangchen's kindness. If the matter cannot be accomplished, at most they will die. Anyway, the Ma family will be extinct. It doesn't matter if they die early or late. It's better to go down and apologize to the ancestors as soon as possible. Hearing his father say this, Ma Xing's father looked at his mother beside him and nodded firmly. Okay, immortal, I will go with you. Although I can't make them pay for their lives, I will make them lose a layer of skin. From the tone of Ma Xing's father, it can be seen that he has regained his confidence and the confidence to get justice for his son. This confidence was brought to him by Yi Liangchen. Yi Liangchen also echoed, at least they should be skinned. But, uncle, don't call me immortal, my name is Yi Liangchen. Uncle, you can just call me Liangchen. Yi Liangchen is only at the 4th level of Qi refining. How dare he call himself an immortal? Even at his peak, he can't be called an immortal. On the path of cultivation, after the Mahayana, one needs to pass the tribulation, and only after the tribulation is successful can there be a possibility of becoming an immortal. It can only pretend in front of mortals, and play tricks that they have never seen, and look like immortals. Okay, immortal. Ma Sheng's father naturally agreed. Liangchen was a little speechless, and didn't care too much. Use this little time tonight to think about how to help the Ma family get justice.